It's an historic building dedicated to what could be considered an old-fashioned hobby. But after more than 100 years in existence, the New York Collectors Club still attracts young stamp collectors like 14-year-old Truth Muller.
I am more like things that are just very unusual.
He says sifting through sheets of old stamps in the club's archives has exposed him to new people and places.
I almost think of stamps as almost like little tiny time travel devices, because they're really, it's such history contained in these little items.
So we have the membership application.
Interest in philately, as stamp collecting is formally called, isn't quite what it used to be back when President Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a member here. But the club still manages to draw a crowd for monthly lectures. President Ed Grabowski says things have changed because of the internet.
As a child growing up in New York, my family couldn't afford to travel, so I traveled by stamps. Okay, and I got my first views of the world through philately. Today, you go on the web and you could get magnificent views of the world and find out almost anything.
The web is also increasingly where stamps are bought and sold.
Back in the 1930s, there were literally hundreds of stamp dealers on Nassau Street here in Lower Manhattan. Now there's just one retail storefront in the entire city.
The British Guiana 1-cent magenta, what's widely considered the world's most valuable stamp. A 12-year-old boy discovered it in a pile of letters back in 1873. It set a new record every time it's been sold since.
And I think for young stamp collectors all over the world, and for me when I was a child, the idea that a 12-year-old could discover the rarest stamp in the world, and the most valuable single stamp, one of the most valuable objects in the world, always excited us. I mean, we thought maybe we could do it too.
Truth admits he's fascinated by the stamp, even if he can't afford it. Kristen Salumi, Al Jazeera, New York.